I'm pretty sure you can't see it, but I'm wearing blue eyeliner. It's coming back. It was inevitable. And this is for you, Yelena. Let's agree on one thing. Marvel knows how to do mental health well. It's shocking because people are like, it's back. It's finally back. The MCU is back. Just because they talked about mental health and didn't shy away from the aftermath that these heroes go through. And suddenly they're doing everything right. They've done it before. Can the Thunderbolts really replace the Avengers? No. Are they still going to defend Earth? Hell yes. See, it's so obvious that they try to make them as different from the Avengers as possible. I mean, you've got that literally. Powers-wise, they don't even compare. The OG Avengers, you had the Hulk, you had Thor. Thunderbolts is like a team of Clint's and Natasha's. And that's it. Literally the only thing that the Avengers used to get criticized for is allowing non-powered individuals on their team. And now, our new Avengers are nothing but non-superpowered individuals with a spectacular history of murder. You know, I love a good anti-hero. Some of my favorite characters aren't exactly superheroes. They're just people who try to do good, and Thunderbolts is nothing but that. So I think the dynamic worked because you weren't expecting these people to be heroes or try to do any real good, and yet they do that. They surprise you. It puts you in the place of the audience inside the movie. It's like you're a civilian. You're not expecting anything, and then they save your ass. So that was fun. Yeah, I really liked the movie. It's not objectively... See, I think when it comes to movies, there are objectively good movies, especially when it comes to the latest phase of the MCU. There are objectively good movies that you won't find two people disagreeing about. Exhibit A was Guardians of the Galaxy 3. And then there are feel-good movies. And I know that feel-good isn't really a word that I'm supposed to use about Thunderbolts because it was pretty emotional, but it was entertaining, it was meaningful. It left me going like, oh, I'm gonna miss these guys, which I've never... Look, if you would have told me that I would entertain the thought of John Walker being like an okay person, like a decent person, I would have stared at you like you were crazy. I'm not cool with him yet, don't get me wrong. Like I said, I could honestly give two damns, but he works well in a team. No, actually, maybe not. I don't know, he behaves when he should, so I guess points for that. To me, I think if Bucky trusts him, or you know, trusts him enough to work with him, I'll leave it to his judgment. My favorite parts were Yelena and Bucky. Those are the two that I was the most excited to see on screen interact, because that was something that 20-year-old, maybe 18-year-old me would have died to see happen. Outing myself as an old person. I know some of my friends had concerns that they were going to try to make Bucky and Yelena a thing because they failed with... Well, they didn't fail, but they were like baiting everyone with Steve and Nat being a thing, and then they were going to use that chance to make Yelena and Bucky a thing, which doesn't happen, and I'm grateful for that. I don't think it would have worked if it had happened, if they had shared a moment, because the theme of the movie and the message that it was trying to communicate was kind of serious and wouldn't have worked well if you tried to introduce romance. And I'm so glad that Bob and Yelena didn't become a thing, even though I'm not opposed either. But like I said, I feel like the romance would have detracted from the intensity of what they were all trying to go through. Now let's talk about Bob, my sunshine. Yeah, he's so great. You know, I can't believe I'm saying this, but it's so good to see a character be introduced in the movie and not in cameos in shows that you had to watch, you know, as if they were homework or something. Like, disclaimer, I don't really know much about Sentry. I mean, when the trailer first came out, people were like, ooh, they're gonna bring in Sentry, how are they gonna do that? And I didn't know what that meant exactly, and I didn't really bother to look it up because I don't have the energy to do that anymore. But apparently it's like Marvel's version of Superman, and I thought we already had that, but it's our Superman. And but yeah, other than that, I really didn't know anything about him, and I think they knew, like the writers and the directors actors knew that they were talking to an audience who is very fatigued and not diehard comic fans anymore, so they were trying to appeal to them. And so they took a look at that character, and I think they reworked him entirely, because what we got with that version of Bob is just perfect, amazing. Like, I walked out of that theater and I said to myself, I'm going to miss this guy. Like, you know, it's serious when you leave that theater, you go to Google and you look up the act. That's when you know it's really, really serious. And that's what I did. And he's such a sweetheart, like, talented nepo baby. We need more of those. And I can't wait until we actually see him kicking ass Sentry. That's gonna be incredible. I also love the Red Guardian. I don't know, I'm just human, man. Like, David Harbour, I feel like if they had cast literally anybody else for this role, it wouldn't have worked so well. Like, he knows how to do this. Loved his and Elena's interactions. I love that they, you know, are still working on being a dad and daughter duo. I'm glad that they're trying. When it comes to other side characters, I will say, like, I have to address the elephant in the room here. The amount of marketing they used that was all about Taskmaster, only for that to happen. Don't get me wrong, I work in marketing too. I know the importance of baiting your audience, but still, like, they used Taskmaster so much in the promo, and all of the promo featured her, only for her to die in the first 5 minutes. So that was... I'm not even pissed about that, it was just funny. I like that they gave Ava a personality, and you best believe if that movie had come out maybe 7, 8, 10 years ago, the amount of fan fiction that would have come out based on the relationships and the dynamics that we saw would have been, like, I'm even going to say they would have been more popular than the Avengers. I'm sorry. Like, the amount of friction between those people would have filled AO3 up. Like, can you imagine? But yeah, all in all, I think they had more chemistry than the Avengers did in that first movie, and look what happened after that. Do I still think that they're replacing the Avengers or could ever replace the Avengers? No, but they're not meant to. I know that the tagline is like the new Avengers and they're trying to set up Doomsday, but we're going to have so many groups in Doomsday, and narratively the only reason that they became the new Avengers was because they were forced into it. They can't exactly back out, so that's why. But I don't think it was an attempt to erase or replace any of the OGs. And speaking of Doomsday, I just want to say, put it on the record, and I'm pretty sure it happened with a lot of people. The way the post-credits scene was spoiled for everybody who spent the credits watching the credits to make time go faster for the credits scene. That was interesting. That was an interesting move to make, Marvel, including the credits for the Fantastic Four score for everybody to see, thus spoiling your own post-credit scene. At this point, I think they don't give a shit. Like, you know what movie is going to come out after this one, so here it is. And my friend pointed out also that this kind of spoils the ending of the Fantastic Four movie, because what else would happen other than the Fantastic Four's universe collapsing or getting destroyed or whatever, and then Reed figures out interdimensional space travel and ends up here on our Earth. So that's fun. I'm going to be honest, I've only watched the Fantastic Four movies. I've never really been a fan because of the movies. You know, they weren't always great, so I've never been compelled to read about them. But I'm still excited to see this new take, and I think after Fantastic Four, are we going to get Doomsday? That is, if we don't get something in between. But that, I think, will be the last thing that we see before Doomsday, and I think, no, actually Spider-Man will be coming out, so that's interesting, but I know that it will be in parallel with Doomsday. But yeah, I'm glad that Marvel has been distancing itself from the multiverse stuff. I feel like they gave it a go, didn't always hit, and they decided to focus more on grounded stories, real stories of, you know, people with no powers at all. Yeah, that was pretty... It wasn't the best movie out of the entire phase, but I liked it. I feel like I missed stories where you felt scared that the person was going to die. I mean, when Bob got shot, like, Bob is the only person that you don't feel scared about because he literally can't die. But still, when he got shot, I was like, Oh man. So there was an element of worry about the characters' futures, which is something that I missed so much. Like, I'm so over stories where characters are invincible or too powered up. There are no stakes anymore, if you know what I mean. But this movie had a lot of stakes. We love that. We love stakes. Love stick. Yeah, so I don't know what else to say, so I'm gonna stop here and watch Thunderbolts if you haven't. I will say one final thought. I'm also glad that, you know, we're slowly getting out of that territory where we have to watch a bunch of other stuff to understand what happens there. But I remember a quote, I think it was Kevin Feige, that said that they're trying to focus on quality and not quantity when it came to TV shows. So when you went and saw the movie in the theaters, you didn't have to do homework, as people started to call it. So yeah, those were my thoughts about Thunderbolts. Let me know if you have seen it and if it was a hit for you or a miss. What else would you have wanted to be there, if that makes sense? And as always, I will be seeing you very, very soon. Bye!